Hello, and welcome to Find Your Voice, where we interview thought leaders from our community at Podcast Guesting Pro. I'm Cassie Welford, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Bruce D. Randall. Bruce is an AI strategist, QAI futurist, and an author who brings more than 25 years worth of experience. He helps enterprises and startups turn advanced technology into strategic growth, executive alignment, and real-world adoption. Bruce bridges technology and human wisdom, helping organizations prepare for a future where intelligence, ethics, and computer powering collide. Bruce, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cassie. I'm pleased to be here.
We're really happy to have you and very much looking forward to hearing more about your expertise.
Sure.
So, Bruce, we would love to know, how did you go from being near retirement to building AI apps, writing a series of books on AI, quantum computing, and human consciousness?
Thanks, Cassie. Later in life, I had a kind of a point to make a decision. My tenure with one company was coming to an end. We accomplished what we needed to. And then nearing retirement, I said, what do I do now? The technology has moved beyond, and where do I fit in? And I think that's how a lot of people feel, at this point in life. So I took a course at MIT for data science to understand the back end. I built a couple AI apps to understand how it all went together in integrations. And I've been meditating for 20 years and Reiki master. And this all seemed to come together to say, I've got things to say. In the podcasts, people like that. And the book was the next step. So all of a sudden, I've been doing podcasts that are getting a lot of traction. And I've written this, 5 books, a trilogy on AI, quantum, and QAI. And they're coming out publishing June and July. And it just happened. I made the choice not to step back, to step forward. And this is where I ended up.
I love that. Made the choice to step forward, and congratulations on the upcoming books. It's a fantastic achievement. Bruce, what does QAI mean, and why do you believe that this could become one of the most important shifts that humanity faces?
Sure. Well, QAI is quantum with AI together. Now, we're not there in public yet, but I do believe we're there behind a few closed doors. And what that means is AI coming together with quantum, and quantum is a different way of operating. For example, when you go onto your standard computer and you open a program, there's X's and O's, and it reads those and it produces what it needs to produce. Quantum does things differently because quantum deals with superposition and entanglement, meaning that theoretically it can be in 2 places at the same time. Now, by the true definition, it's a little different, but that's the good explanation. And quantum picks up where other computers can't process. So it's really an extension of another computer, but because it operates looking at all sides of a program and not just the surface of the code, there are many other potentials there that we don't know about. And to let quantum, which is fairly unstable by itself, proceed, we need something to come and manage that during its processing. And that's where AGI or ASI will come in and manage quantum so that it can process and can be kept on track. And that's what AGI is. Now, I believe we have ASI, and I know we have AGI, but it's just been announced. ASI, I think, is behind closed doors. And I think QAI is behind closed doors. And I think they're trying to understand how to manage it, because it can't be released the way it is. Because if releasing that when it's unstable, it could just raise havoc.
Wow. It's like a whole new world behind closed doors.
It really is.
Thank you. Many people are still trying to understand basic AI. Why do you think leaders need to start thinking beyond AI and prepare for the quantum AI era now?
That's a good question. And as I tell people when I work with them, you can either get into AI in your vertical in a way that can enhance what you're already doing, or you can put it off. But if you put it off in a year or two, your competitors who picked it up are going to be ahead of you, and you're going to have a hard time catching up with them. So it's actually market preservation to get involved in this. And different verticals are going to get involved in it in different ways. Some can do just a simple, like a chatbot, to help them secure their position better and make it easier. Others are going to need something more as you scale up to larger companies. Not doing it right now is just not going to help people in the next year or two. It's going to put them behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, so be proactive,
Correct.
even if you find it daunting. you have
Yeah.
to move now.
Yeah. And for example, I got into it and I built programs. I learned data science at this point in my life. And now I've written books and I'm a thought leader in it. And this is something that if I can do it, anybody can do it. There's no excuses really.
That's a really powerful message. I love the saying, find a way or find an excuse, and you've
Right.
absolutely found a way. In your view, what do most business leaders misunderstand about AI adoption, and especially when it comes to their long-term competitive advantage?
Well, there's a whole mixed bag here, but I'll give you kind of the average. Some companies look at AI as being they have it, they have subscribers, it's helping them. And that's kind of the base level. That's the entry level for AI. But in order to your point, when you have to think longer term, you have to get to know AI and you have to know your vertical in your business to know how that can augment you in the future. And there's many different types of businesses and many different ways that AI can enhance that. And I can't give one answer for your question, but I can say that there are many ways to allow AI in, and that preps for down the road when AI and quantum come out to the public. And then you're prepped for that when that enters.
Moving fast.
It's moving faster than most people think.
How can companies use AI responsibly while still staying competitive, especially whilst they're under the pressure to move so quickly?
Sure. I think that in order to use AI responsibly, you have to set up the structure and think about that before you implement it, because the structure is going to keep things in the box that where you want it. And that will give you a good way to evaluate what it is you're trying to do. And then you know how to continue with that structure or build on it as you continue on and upgrade, because that's very important. A lot of people just try and put LLMs in their business and use that and they think that's a good job and that they're doing well. That's going to help with reports and so forth. But to help the business, you need to go a step beyond that. And the structure is very important when you do that.
And going back to your books, they move from AI to quantum to QAI. How do those books build on each other, and what journey are you taking your readers on?
Sure. Well, the AI right now is to understand what AI is. And it's more than just large language models like GPT and Claude and Perplexity and all those. It's more than that. And my perspective is that people need to understand what AI is and then move on to understand what quantum is and what they're not, because there's a lot of hype out there and you can't believe all the hype. You have to know what they are and what they're not. And then I advance to QAI, where we talk about how that can be structured in the future and what we need to be careful of now. For example, in the cybersecurity, they have a structure out now to protect against quantum when it comes out. And it's an overview. And if they have that in the computer world, and people really need, especially if you're in business, you need to come out and you need to make sure that you have the highest security you can. And then there's another book that I wanted to mention called The End of Smart, which is in editing right now. And many people get ghosted when they send resumes in, and whether they create it or have AI help create it. And there's a lot of things happening in businesses on the back end. And one statistic that I came into is some of the systems prefer an AI resume than a human created resume because it fits the metrics better. So metrics are more important. And also when you come in to do an interview, if you get to that point, you have to demonstrate what you know. So just knowing it is not good. You have to demonstrate it. And that's where I say it's very important when kids are coming out of high school and they're in college right now, and people that are looking at, moving within their jobs. And Jason Hung said this the other day, if I had a choice to take somebody that had AI skills and somebody that didn't, I'd take the AI skills. And that says it all right there. I think AI skills are equally as important to most college degrees right now.
That's really interesting, Bruce. So all generations need this skill under their belts. It's going to be imperative to their progression.
It's changing quickly, and keeping up with it is very important.
Yeah. And for a listener that's feeling overwhelmed by AI, quantum computing, and the pace of change, what could be some practical steps that they could take to stop making these excuses and start preparing for the future?
Sure. What I would suggest people do is choose something that they want to know about that's going to benefit them in their personal life or at work, and start researching that and seeing what's out there for that and seeing how AI can help and assist with that. And then once you do that, then you start going to the next step, which is understanding how you can work with AI in that area that you're talking about. And then you go from there to using it at work and showing your skills and what you can produce with this. Essentially, for most people, it saves time and produces a better report. And in the end of SMART, I have an example where, an executive comes into a conference room and says, I have 2 reports here. Tell me what's different between them. And everybody looks at me and say, we can't tell the difference, right? One took a team 4 days to produce and one took 2 hours to produce. If I can do this in 2 hours, why are we hiring people? And that says a lot right there.
It's extremely powerful. You can't afford to wait. Yeah. Fantastic, Bruce. And finally, how can people contact you if they're interested about finding out about your work or about your upcoming books?
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn at Bruce D. Randall, MBA, and I have a website that will be up in about 5 weeks, and it's brucedrandall.ai. There should be a landing page up next week, and then the site will be up following that.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today, Bruce. We'll share your links below so anyone can contact you. And we're really looking forward to continuing working together as part of your thought leadership journey, and want to wish you the best for your continued success.
Thank you, Cassie. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And thank you for listening.